like I said earlier, if we wanted to build the piece that I sent you guys, so I sent you guys this one right over here, all we need to build it is those relations I showed you: horizontal, vertical, tangent, concentric, equal, and coincident. And also, like I said earlier, can I zoom in here? All we really need for this is 1, 2, 3, 4 circles. We need 2 ellipses. We need 1, 2, 3 lines. And like I said earlier, 3 dimensions. So we could do the 5 over here or the 5 over here, the 0.5 and the 0.5. Other than that, you don't really need anything else. I'll even start drawing it just to show you the relations as we go. So let's go make a piece. And as you see here, as I'm making the piece, when it loads, the units at this point, I'll just put it just for fun, put in inches. I didn't specify where it goes, but just let me do the same one over here as well. And see. So let's go this. So again, so I'm just gonna draw to start off. I'll do my front plane in this case. I could use the top, doesn't really make a difference. And we're gonna go now and go do 1 point, 2, 3, right? Now I said there's the 3 lines I needed. Now let's go add the circles I want. So let's go here. Let's do 1. Let's still put them anywhere. So there's 2. So I could have put them right away in the concentric, but I want to show you the relations. Let's make a bigger one here, and let's make us a little bit bigger here. So as you can see here, we have different ones. Now I'm going to add the ellipse. I'll put it in the middle of the drawing, right over here. 1 and another one like this. Okay, so as you can see, these are the items we needed to build our project, right? So now let's go on and let's do a couple of things. Let me open the PDF so I can actually see the dimensions. So now let's go. The first thing we can do is we can make our circles concentric. Again, you could do this in any order you want. I'm just going to do it this way. So we're going to go first ones first. And actually, before I even do concentric, let's make these two equal to each other. So as we saw before, we have 2 of them that are equal to each other. Maybe I can do a half screen here and half screen here. Yeah, that works too. And I'll do this so you guys could see the drawing as I am talking at the same time. Like this. Perfect. Let me just move this a bit. Good. So as we see here, we have 2 circles and we have them that are equal to each other. So we're going to go click the first circle, click the second circle, and right away we're going to go use equal to each other. So now they're both the same size. The next thing we can do is start making them concentric to each other. We could also do equal as well before I forget. This one here, equal to each other, like that. And now let's make them concentric to these circles. So we're going to click this circle. We're going to use the concentric. So now it shoots in the middle. Now this circle here, and let's make this one concentric as well. So now we have the circles are concentric to each other. So what does that mean now? If I were to change, because they're equal to each other, if I change the size of one, it's going to automatically change the size of the other. That's good. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to add a relation. As you can see, they're touching each other in the photo as well. So we're going to go click this outer one with this outer one, and we're going to go use the relation tangent because we want them to be touching each other, so they're tangent to each other. At the same time, we're going to make these lines tangent to each other. So we're going to click this line and make it tangent, and go click this line and this circle and make it tangent as well. So right now we're getting them squished together. If I want, I'm going to save the dimension in a bit. We're going to move on now to the lines. So the lines are pretty much, they already have the relations, but let's just double check. We click on this line here, hold control, and also this line here. And all 3 lines should be equal to each other. So they all have the same distance. So we have the equal set. We also can make sure that this line here and this one here are vertical to each other, vertical lines always, and that this line here is always horizontal. Good, so now we're getting there. We have the pieces going. The next step we're going to do is we're going to make these 2 concentric to each other. We're going to grab the first one, the second one, and we're going to make them concentric to each other, so they're on top of each other as well. Then what we can do is, let me bring this down a bit. So let me actually put the dimension for these circles so they stop going crazy. Let's go do dimension. Go from one to the other. And we said this one here should be 0.50. There we go. We also got to add the dimension over here for the 5. Which is automatically going to update all 3 of them. So this is 5, this is 5, this is 5. And now we're going to go make sure that this one here, actually for these ones here, what we can do is also we can grab this point, this edge here, and we can use Coincident. So now it's going to push it up like we see in the drawing, and do the same to the other side. But if you see they're already there, but let's just double check. This point here with this circle here. Again, the end point with the circle. Coincident. There we go. Now we have that one set. So now we're getting there. We're almost completed our drawing. All that's left to do is to make this guy here, let's move him here, align with these guys. So for this to work, if you notice, our minors, this one here and this one here, should align one on this side and one on this side. Also, this should be going upwards. So what we can do now is we could go grab 1 point, 2 point, and make sure we have it, not vertical, horizontal, delete. No, it was vertical. That was the right way. Okay, that's okay. We can switch it on. This one here. Then we could grab this one here as well. Let's see if it works. I might have to go back and change it. Let's just check. Horizontal again. And now let's go. Is this able to change it still? Yes, I'm still able to move it around. Now let's go do another relation. Let's make sure 1, come on, 2, 3, 4 are vertical to each other. And also let's make sure that this edge here and this edge on the outer one are vertical to each other. I think I screwed that one up. Let me just go check. Let me see if I can move this around. No, so let me just go back a bit and delete some relations I added for these guys. I added a little too much here. Hold on, let me just go back to concentrics. Okay, this one here. Get rid of horizontal for now. Delete. Delete this one. So we could go back and delete some that we did earlier. That's good. And that's good. Okay, so now this thing should be able to move. There we go. This is still concentric to each other. And can I move this? Yes. So we can move this. For some reason, I have them going the wrong orientation. So let me just show my ones and see which one is these ones here. Let me get rid of all these guys for now. Duk, duk, duk. Delete. Delete. So now my piece should be able to, there we go, move around. And why you stuck here, you have, okay, that's good actually. So now let's do another constraint from here. Relation, not constraint, sorry. Let's make this a little, there we go. Relation, this point here with this point here. Oops, I clicked too many. 1, hold control, 2. This one here should be vertical. There we go. Now we're starting to get the shape of our drawing. I could put that dimension right away so we get this shape more better looking. This should be 0.5. Okay, so now it's looking good. All that's left to do is to make these guys here. Oh, my line is still crooked, so I have to make this one and this one vertical. There we go. So we're getting there. Now we have to make sure that our bottom point and our line use the midpoint. That's good, because it's in the middle. Now we have to do is make sure our outer one and our circle become tangent. There we go. We make sure this one here and this one here are tangent. And I think as well, make sure this one here, oh, I grabbed the wrong point before, it looks like. This one here should be, get rid of midpoint. Oops, I have to constrain that afterwards. This one here and this line here should be stuck to midpoint. There we go. We're getting the shape now. All that's left to do is constrain or add a relation between this point here and this point here, and make sure that they're vertical. And do the same from this point to this point. Make sure it's vertical. And finally, now if I go move it around, you see the whole drawing moves. All that's left for me to do is find where my origin is. Where's my origin? Which is right over there. So let me just move these guys again. Am I moving my origin? Yes, I moved it. Let's just move this piece here. And let's just do one more constraint. This corner here to this corner here. And let's do coincide. And as you can see here, our drawing is fully defined at the bottom. So why would I want it to be fully defined? Because look now, let me get rid of this. If I were to change the dimension of this one here, and I were to change it to say 10, you notice that the whole drawing still stays intact of the settings I had before. Nothing is the settings. This is 0.5. Oh, let me just check to make sure. This is 0.5. This is perfect. This is perfect. So yes, everything is being able to do it at the same time. Nothing is moving incorrectly. So now that it's fully defined, if I were to go put this back to 5, like I showed you earlier, and I were to add another dimension here, like in the drawing, it's going to over constrain it. Why? Because I added enough relations that I don't need that dimension. By having these ones all equal to each other, you know that this is 5. I can add a temporary dimension, like so, and it's placed here. This dimension here, I can move it up higher, so it's in the middle like the drawing, and so forth. All right, but overall, this is it. Then afterwards, if it was completed and we needed to make a sheet right away, guys, it's not hard. You just go back one thing, and you just go File, Make Drawing from Part. You should save the file first. So I'm just going to show you this. Let me just save it on my desktop in my folder. Notes that I did today, lectures 2 to 4, lecture 3 we're on right now. No, we're not. We're still in lecture 2 today. Lecture 2. And I'll just save this as part 4, for example. Once it is saved, and I forgot to mention this to you yesterday because it was a little bit first time. Before, we only had these 4 options. If you uncheck Show Standard Formats, you'll see you do have all the other ones as well. So if I want ANSI landscape, like in this one here, I just press OK. And then I go to my model, but not the model dimensions, layout, model view. I take the one I just built and I place it here. You see I'm able to have my drawing in it. I could change the scale. Where is it? Use sheet scale, use custom scale. Let's do 1 to 2. Come on, it's still loading, I guess. Press check mark. Okay, you can make a small scale, but if you understand, you're able to place it and add your dimensions like you did before.